So welcome back to professional English class. See, today the topics that we'll be taking care of is going to be complete at abstract level. I'm going to bombard you with lots of concept today because this is the last lecture of the first unit. So you have to be very conscious, very alert, right? So now, just to give you an overall view of what I'm going to take care of in present lecture, you have to understand this particular picture. I'm a very bad drawer, right? I do not have a art skill. So, but still you have to consider this to be a human being, right? Now, this human being has 5 sense organs through which he tries to perceive the current environmental realities in and around the place where he is present. Now, the 5 sense organs, that is eye, ear, speech, tongue and skin, through which he receives the data, and the data through the sense organ reaches brain. And there he generates thoughts, he understands things, he creates memory, he evaluates things and creates a concept. So just to put it in a simpler way, if I talk, if you remember the first very lecture where I talked and I have mentioned it, that the English that we are going to learn in this particular subject is professional English. English meant for professionals, means a specific profession. As for it matters, right now you are going to be an engineer, right? So how the process is there? I'm talking about a process. Sensation. Through sense organs you collect data and then perceptions are created. You evaluate, critically gaze at the data that are reach your brain, and then concepts are generated. And these concepts repetitively once practiced generates skills for which anybody is hired, for which anybody is paid immense salary. So now, if you remember the two models that we have discussed, the first model was process of communication and the second very model was LSRW. By now we have completed reading skills. In today's lecture, we are going to talk about the remaining 3 skills at abstract level, not to worry. Writing skills, speaking skills, and third is writing skills, speaking skills, and the third one is listening skills. These are the 3 things that we'll be discussing today, right? So, excuse me, right? The 4 skills that we are going to discuss. Now, let me start with the writing skills. In LSRW, W stands at the 3rd stage. LSRW, why is this model named so? Just because of the advancement. First, any particular person listens and tries to understand the language, and then LS, he tries to imitate by speaking that particular language that he has understood, picked from different environmental sources. And the 3rd stage is he tries to jot it down, the concepts that he has generated in listening and speaking skills. And the 3rd, 4th and the foremost thing is reading. Reading makes a man complete. If you remember in the last lecture I had talked. Complete in sense, now you are the state fit in the economical world. A world where you will drain out some monetary benefits from anywhere, in any specific profession you may be going in near future. Right? So writing skills, if we try to understand at an abstract level, is the 3rd level of stage in LSRW model. And for writing mastery, what you have to understand is knowledge of vocabulary, knowing grammar, knowing punctuation marks, right? Knowing how to create sentences, how to use the different metaphors, figure of speech, creation of clauses, uses of phrases, right? And gradually these all things will be carried out in the 3rd unit that you may be knowing, right? Now, at an abstract level, how writing is mastered. For that, before I get down to that detail, I would like to talk about a very simple activity of a general human being's life. Definitely everybody prepares tea, right? Maybe once your parents leave your house for some certain reasons, you prepare tea for yourself, right? It's so easy, tea preparation is so easy. Everybody knows that what this particular process demands is water, milk, tea, and then the sugar, stove, a vessel in which you will be placing all these things, and now you can prepare it. Right? It sounds easy, right? No! If it is so easy, why then the prepared tea by everyone doesn't taste the same? You definitely might have come across a situation where people say, this particular person, once he prepares the tea, it tastes great, man. And why the other people are not given the equal records and acknowledgement and appreciation? Just because the person who prepares the tea properly, accurately, having good taste, has the knowledge of methods. He knows what steps, what approaches, what methods are to be adopted, when, how much flame is to be lit, when water is to be poured, what amount of tea, milk is to be poured, what amount of tea is to be poured, when sugar is to be inserted, and then ginger and whatever flavor that you prefer. That's all process, it's all complete technique. Same is the case with writing skills. It's not only that you know what are clauses, it's not only that you know what are phrases, idioms, fables, sayings, the grammar. Still, there are chances I have come across in my teaching career where people know everything when you ask them to narrate or define these things, but they are not able to put it, apply it in the written skills. Right? So you have to know the different types of writing paragraph. The smallest unit of any writing skill is vocabulary. If you move down to the second level, that is sentence, and the third level is paragraph. When I talk about paragraph, it may be of letter, it may be of essay, it may be of say a project, it may be of a report, it may be of research paper, anywhere. Paragraph. Paragraph is again developed in many ways. Many ways, like there are certain methods of paragraph development. What are those methods? Methods are your inductive, deductive, expository, spatial, interrupted, linear, chronological. Now, why am I telling all these things? Do not forget the picture, that bad picture that I have drawn over here. Yeah, you have to take it seriously. It means a lot, What is that? Unless until your brain has the technique, the methods, your skills, your hand won't be able to put things in a proper systematic way. Right? For that, you have to know sensation, perception and conceptions. So, through the sense organ, through perception, when you try to disseminate the concept in the written documents, you have to know that. It's a skill. And this skill must be aware, the person must be aware about the methods, as I have right now narrated. Right? You must know what to think and how to think and when to think and how to use those different thinking skills. That we will be discussing in the later on of this particular lecture. So, let me start by one by one at the abstract level. What are the paragraphs? Paragraph has a topic sentence. It must have a topic sentence. A governing, controlling idea that completely governs what kind of logics, what kind of argument, what kind of examples, what kind of explanation, what kind of definition you will be taking care of. Right? And then moving on to the other thing. This is what is paragraph, and then what are the types of paragraph. Types of paragraph means, obviously, inductive, deductive, as I have mentioned. At a surface level, if you try to understand, which will be gradually, we'll get down to details in the second year when you be in the second year. Now, just you have to understand the description and the definition of it. What is inductive? When you try to start from a specific idea. You have a specific idea in your brain, and then you, through your explanation, through your examples, through examples, through explanation, and logics, argument, what you do is you try to justify your specific idea that you have started with, and ultimately the reader gets convinced. Okay, this is what you meant. Why you used this sentence this was the reason behind it. Fine. Now I get you. And then he gets connected. Then he gets connected to the process, right? And then he gets connected to the process, and then he starts taking interest. Same is again, just opposite is deductive method. Deductive method means what? You start with a general idea. General idea means you talk something which is generally accepted by the society, and then gradually you give arguments, logics, examples, and gradually you reach a situation where your own perception, your own idea is there, which generally is not accepted. Now it is accepted just because it is followed by the argument, it is followed by a logic, it is followed by a proper explanation, and then they easily accept whatever you want to say. So deductive, inductive. What is chronological? Chronological is again event occurrence on the basis of date. Like if you talk about any biography, autobiography, whenever you go through any autobiography or biography, generally what happens? Somebody was born in some date, and then followed by he did his schooling in this year, and then there is a sequence as far as the event, incident, and then the date is concerned, right? And then what is spatial? Spatial is completely based on distance based. Suppose you are going to be in near future engineer, and you are talking about motors. Which part? Suppose I take up central point, and from that central point try to describe the whole motor. Then I will tell this particular part is placed approx 1 centimeter apart from this part, and then moving towards the other part, another 2 centimeter. If you move ahead, there is a piston, there is a lever, there is other parts, spring is there. No, what? When you talk about distance based, automatically that is a spatial method of paragraph development. Moving on to the other one, linear. What is linear? Linear way of paragraph development. Linear way of paragraph development means what? There's complete ascending or descending order of description of any concepts. Suppose I talk about a particular subject, and in that particular subject I start making a concrete pathway how I am going to carry on. So I am talking about the linear method of paragraph development. Coming on to the other ones, what are the other ones? That is expository. In deductive and expository, they are quite very similar, and there are subtle differences between deductive and expository. What are that? In deductive method, you always take the argument or the logics related to a particular specific subject. But in expository method, you expose the dimension. You expose the dimension of the argument or logics. You may pick arguments and logics from varied subjects. Now coming down to the next one is interrupted. What are this interrupted way of paragraph development? Which is not really good, you should not play for this. And this is completely tense based. Tense based means you definitely might have come across in grammar classes where you are being taught that there is 3 tenses: present, past, and future. In present tense, what you do? You talk about the present, the grammar, the verb, all related to the present tense. And then you're talking in present tense. All of a sudden you switch to past, and then again you directly from past to the future. So you interrupt the flow of information as far as the time is concerned. That is known as interrupted way of paragraph development. It is not better. Experts suggest that you should avoid this because you won't be able to control the mindset of the reader. He will get distracted, and the more distraction takes place in the reader, he will take less interest in your written text or document, right? So this was paragraph development. Now talking about the approaches, again there are other techniques that you must be very much aware. Time is very precious. There is a great saying which says that money is not money in present day world, time is money. There was a great, even a published article in newspaper once. Bill Gates visited India, in which you might have come across a news where Bill Gates, all of a sudden there was some dollars which fell from his pocket, but he didn't pick it up. And while news readers started questioning him, why you didn't pick the dollars that came out of your pocket? He said, by the time I invest my energy, time and attention towards picking that dollars, the number of dollars that fell, I will be earning more than what is spent. So what I mean to say is, in present day world, people are reluctant to give you time. They are happy to give you money. Take money and you go away if you are related to them in some kind of relationship, if you are having it. So in the same case, you have to understand the approaches. Approaches means what? You have to understand how much time the reader is going to give to my text. What kind of text I am writing. And in that link, you have to understand the time frame, the interest, the need, and the time that you will be giving. And meeting these all requirement can be approached by certain techniques. And what are those techniques? You have to always keep it simple. If you remember in the earlier classes, I have already told you that in reading, if any text is too much bombasted with lots of jargon and lots of argument, hi-fi language, then what would happen? Now people are not going to be able to connect. As you neglected those foreign authors' books, same is the case with you. If you are going to write something which is not having a simple language, which is not able to connect to the audience, then what would happen? They won't take interest in your written document. So your language should be very, very simple. The second challenging aspect of writing skill is, you have to be brief. Brevity is to be followed. At the same time, clarity is to be followed. Oh my God. Are you getting what I mean to say? Brevity and clarity. Brevity means keeping it brief in less number of words, and at the same time you have to see that it is clear. Clear means clear in the sense of completeness. Nothing is missing in it. And how this can be generated, we will be talking in the next unit. But still, for a few suggestions I would give by using one-word substitutions. If I say I am omnipresent, omnipresent is a person who is present everywhere, and I cannot be omnipresent. I mean to say God, the Almighty. So omnipresent has a message to say. By using one word, I neglected a number of words which